こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の動画は、クリスタルパレスの鎌田大地に関する動画です。クリスタルパレスは、プレミアリーグ第4節で、サンダーランドをホームに迎え、チャンスを作り続けたものの、0対0のスコアレスドローに終わりました。昇格組に対し、痛い引き分けでしたが、ファンは最低限の結果のように受け取っているようです。鎌田大地は、前半は左の10番のポジションで、後半からは右の10番のポジションで、70分からは、レルマに代わってディベニーが10番に入ったタイミングで、鎌田大地が6番に下がってプレーしました。前半には、イェレミーピノに対する決定的なスルーパスを出し、後半は2つの素晴らしいミドルシュートも見せ、パレスファンは、またしても鎌田大地のパフォーマンスを称賛しています。おなじみのバックオブザネストから、マッチリアクションの動画とプレイヤーレーティングの動画から、一部切り取っています。実際に鎌田大地のパフォーマンスについてどのように話しているのかチェックしてみましょ
う。And there he is. Patrick, how are you?
Tim, how are you?
I'm well, man. How are you? What'd you think? We were talking about Pino. What was your feeling watching Yeremy Pino today?
I thought he was pressing. I think he tried a little bit too hard today. It was clear he was trying too hard. I thought he got into positions that were effective. He was getting into the little pockets, but his passing was off. He had a great opportunity. You mentioned the one-on-one. He has to score that chance. It's a great
he does. Yep.
To do something. Again, it's tough. It's tough to Spanish football and English football not the same. It's more physical in England. He's going to have to get used to that. But it was an interesting debut for him again. I think he could have done better, but it is what it is. I thought Uche, in comparison, obviously didn't start, came on late. I thought he was very active, linked up well with Mitchell and Gahey on that left-hand side, put in a great cross, had a great shot, could have been a penalty. So, a tale of two debuts as far as home debuts. But, I thought, again, I'll take the point. Listen, Sunderland are very good, and I'll give the man of the match already to the goalkeeper. I thought Ralph was brilliant for them today. He's made some great saves.
Yeah, he really did. Just to build on what you said about Kristantas Uche, I think Mateta's going to like playing with him. He's a big physical player, getting into space. He didn't look intimidated by the situation, and I have to say, probably my favorite moment, Patrick, is he gets the ball up on the left, and he just held off Xhaka, and he baited Xhaka into doing Xhaka things, and he gets the free kick out of it. That's a good sign, like a player like that can use his physicality, which we're going to need, right? So I was very pleased by his debut, but I want a quick word on Kamada and your thought. There have been a couple of stories over the past few seasons where a player that we just weren't sure about suddenly becomes a player we can absolutely depend on. I thought Kamada was not sensational is too strong a word, but I thought he had a good game.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if we're doing the play rating tomorrow because we couldn't see the game. We'll see what happened later on. But as far as man of the match for me, it has to be Kamada. I thought he was good in the 10. I actually wish he'd played on the other side, on the right, not the left. But when he went to midfield, he was so good. Very creative. It's funny when you don't have, I got to say it now, if you don't have Eze and you don't have Wharton, you lack creative outlets. And I think Kamada is one of the few players that we still have there that's creative. I really like Lerma and Hughes, but they're not creative enough for me, especially in the middle. But when Kamada's in there, he looked for that pass. He had that shot that was blocked.
Right.
Actually, it's actually a really good save by the keeper again. Rouse was so good today. He made on Mateta, the one on Kamada. But no, I thought Kamada, and I was hoping that he would make that sub. The manager, he'd put Kamada in midfield because, again, Lerma was trying to do stuff, making long passes he really can't make. And I thought that we were lacking that creative ability there. I thought, again, because Pino's a little bit off of it today, he's definitely going to be a creative spot. Don't get me wrong, he'll be very good. But I thought that Kamada, especially Century, was very, very good today. That second half was very, very good.
The pass, oh my Lord. That was Wharton-esque, that pass to free up Pino. That was really, I think this Palace team will be at its best when Daichi Kamada and Adam Wharton are both healthy and playing in the middle. Boy, That's an exciting combination. Those two, and apparently we may have them back in time for Liverpool, but not this next week, and certainly not for Millwall.
But real quick, I wanted to, before I go now, I remember my main point. Kamada, I think he was okay at the 10, but playing in midfield was a lot better, and I think that's his best position now. Now, I get why they didn't start him there, because Sunderland's midfield is pretty physical, so you want the most physical midfield you have. But then the shift him in the second half opened everything up. But I would like to see Kamada starting the midfield going forward, even when Wharton comes back. Now and it's more matchup based, like against Everton or somebody like that. You want the more physical Hughes in, etc. But I look forward. But as for Millwall, just let the two new players, and if you could, you can't play Gay. You got to rest him. My God, and hopefully another defender as well. I don't know if he wants to mess up the competitive balance, but because we got a lot of games coming up, and you got to rest your best players the best you can, and JP too. I don't know who would. Maybe Uche could play in the fall as a striker. He did that at Getafe for a little bit. But anyway, that's all I got, guys. There's plenty of people need to get on here. So take care. Up the Palace, and talk to y'all next week. All right.
Up the Palace. Thanks, Patrick.
Actually, we moved to go back Kamada. Kamada, I gave him 8.5, my man of the match, and you gave him 8. I'll go first. I thought he played really well. Again, without Wharton and Ebbs in the side, there's obviously a lack of creativity, and you can't have a lack of creativity when you need to score a goal. Obviously, and I thought Kamada. From minute 1 to the end, when he was playing as the initially as the right 10, then went to the left 10 second half, and then moved to midfield. I thought it was very good. His stat wise, 23 out of 29 passing, 79%. He had 2 shots, both of them easy to be scored. Good saves both by Ralphs. I think actually one might have been one he turned by the post for corner. One was it blocked? No, they
both went out for corners.
Right, exactly. So Ralphs
good
saves, right. 37 touches, great ball again for Pino to take that chance. 2 out of 3 echoed long balls. Defensively, only 2 out of 5 ground duels won. Was dual pass twice. But again, I thought he was very creative. I thought he did a really good job. It's nice to see him continue to be the player that I thought that he was when he came last season. He took a lot of stick last year. Again, had some great performances this season. I like his flexibility. He can play as a 10. Preferably on the right, but he definitely is able to play in the dual role in the midfield with either Wharton, which he's played well, obviously from last year, cup final, cup semi-final, or with Hughes. So that's why I get mad. I thought he played really well. But your thoughts on Kamada?
I thought he was excellent as well. Probably, I think he was just shaded by Lacroix in terms of my man of the match as well. I thought again, I love Daichi. I love the way that he plays. He's just a superb technician, and that ball he plays for Pino for that chance was an unbelievable ball. Perfect weight of, on the pass.
Yep.
So good that Pino, didn't even have to take a touch. I thought it was a wonderful ball. Right into his path. And it's a shame he didn't get an assist off that, but I thought he was great. And it's good to see, the player that, like you were saying, that, thought we signed. I think he's been really good now for going back to, to last season, the back half of last season. I think he's been really good. And I'm glad, I always thought there was a player there, and it was going to take him some time to, adapt. He's played at the top level and at, these bigger clubs, in Germany and Italy for, to eventually not translate, to coming over here and just need a little bit of time. And, I'm glad to see that, Glasner, continue to trust him, which makes sense, given, the relationship. And, I think Daichi has, fully, paid that off. And I think he's great. And it's really good to see, how versatile he is in terms of, being able to play the 10 and, not offering the same types of things, that Ebbs or Sara does, but, still, being good in that role. I am excited, though, to see him, drop back to, the pivot role, playing deeper and, being able to dictate the games from there. Really looking forward to seeing, him and Wharton, which I think is Glasner's, preferred, partnership, at the base of the midfield. Having 2 technicians there, feeding the ball into the 10s and, that getting us away. Really looking forward to, seeing that partnership again. And I thought, when he dropped a little bit deeper yesterday, I thought he picked up the tempo of our play. I think it was when Devetti came on for Lerma and then he dropped deeper. I thought he was good deeper as well. That shot that you mentioned, that the Sunderland keeper.
Up left
Yeah,
corner, right?
yeah, exactly. That came when he had come deeper and we had picked up the pace of a play a bit. So yeah, it was. Really good to see him, continue to put in these performances and especially at the start of the season and dating back to last season. So yeah, that was another really good performance from Daichi.
次は解説です。今回も話すスピードや話し方から聞き取るのがかなり難しい部分は多いかもしれませんが、難しいボキャブラリーはほとんどありませんでした。私も一部聞き取れていなかったので、わかる方がいれば教えてください。今回は簡単なものが多いですが、本日の解説をチェックしてみましょう。
So, a tale of two debuts as far as home debuts.
アテールオブは、南南に関する物語や、南南を描いた話という意味を持つ表現で、文学的、比喩的な響きがあります。日常会話では少し詩的、感情的なトーンを加えたいときに使われます。この表現は、明暗、成功と失敗、希望と絶望など、対照的な要素を対比的に語るときに非常に効果的です。また、日常の出来事をドラマチックに語るときにも使える、語彙力をワンランク上げてくれる表現です。
So, a tale of two debuts as far as home debuts. So, a tale of two debuts as far as home debuts.
Just to build on what you said about Cristante Suche.
ビルドオンは、ビルドイコール、立てるオンイコール、何かの上に。という直訳からもわかる通り、すでにあるものを基礎にして、さらに積み上げるという意味を持つ表現です。会議での発言に補足したり、ビジネスの成果を次のステップへつなげる際によく使われます。例えば、昨年の成功をもとに、さらに拡大したいと言いたいときや、人の発言に続けて意見を述べたいときにも便利です。この表現は非常に自然で、上級者らしい印象を与えられる便利な駆動詞です。
Just to build on what you said about Cristante Suche. Just to build on what you said about Cristante Suche. He didn't look intimidated by the situation.
インティミテッドは、相手を威圧したり怖がらせて、思い通りに動かそうとするときに使われる動詞です。日本語で言うと、脅すや圧力をかけるといった意味に近く、フォーマルにもカジュアルにも使われます。逆に、威圧されるは、フィールインティミティッドと表されます。日常会話だけでなく、ビジネスや法的な場面でも使える、知っておくと語彙の幅が広がる重要な単語です。
He didn't look intimidated by the situation. He didn't look intimidated by the situation, and he just held off Xhaka.
ホールドオフは文脈によって2つの意味があります。一つは相手を食い止めるや攻撃を防ぐなど防衛的なニュアンス。もう一つは先延ばしにするや延期するという意味です。前者はスポーツや戦闘的な文脈で、後者は日常やビジネスの場面でよく使われます。例えば、その決定は今は保留にしようというような場面で使います。多義的な表現ですが、使いこなせれば英語力が一段アップします。
And he just held off Xhaka. I mean, that was Wharton-esque.
エスクは、名詞の後につけて、南南風のや、南南らしいと表すとても便利な設備詞です。例えば、ピカソ風の絵と言いたいときには、ピカソエスクと表現できます。日常英語では、フォーマル、文学的な響きがあり、スタイルや雰囲気を強調したいときに効果的です。また、スポーツやアートの分野では、特定の人の特徴を真似たような動きや表現に対して使われることもあります。誰々らしい動きだったと印象づけるのに便利です。
I mean, that was Wharton-esque.
Like, he took a lot of stick last year.
スティックという単語は通常、棒などの意味で知られていますが、イギリス英語の口語では、批判や非難の意味で使われることがあります。特にスポーツや芸能の話題でよく使われ、批判を浴びることをテイクスティックやゲットスティックの形で表現します。アメリカ英語ではあまり使われない表現なので、英語学習者にとっては、イギリスっぽさを感じる良いポイントです。ネイティブのカジュアルな会話で品質するので、聞き取れると一気にリスニング力もアップします。
Like, he took a lot of stick last year.
Probably, I think he was just shaded by Lacroix in terms of.
リーシェードバイは、比べられて、少し劣るや、誰かの影に隠れて目立たないといった意味で使われる表現です。直訳すると、影を作られるですが、比喩的に、比較の中でわずかに負けるというニュアンスを持ちます。スポーツ選手の評価や、芸術、パフォーマンスの世界でよく使われます。細かなニュアンスを伝えるときに便利な表現です。
Probably, I think he was just shaded by Lacroix in terms of. Probably, I think he was just shaded by Lacroix in terms of.
いかがでしたか？鎌田大地のパフォーマンスは、あの絶妙なスルーパスと、素晴らしいミドルシュートはもちろん、ディフェンスからボールを引き出したり、パス回しやボールさばきによって試合のテンポをコントロールしたりするのもやはり印象的だったでしょうし、前線へのスルーパスにしても、やはり6番の低い位置からプレーする方が、パレスファンも鎌田に合っていると感じているようですね。ミドルシュートについても、いずれもセットプレーの流れからではありましたが、中盤に落ちた後でのプレーであり、その一つ下がったポジションの方が、ミドルシュートのチャンスも増えると感じたような気もします。10番でのプレイヤーとしては、もう少しドリブルやスピードのある選手が欲しいということでもある気はしますが、10番もでき、6番もでき、試合をコントロールし、クリエイティブな選手として、すでに替えの利かない選手の評価を得ているようにも感じます。まだまだシーズン始まったばかりですので、今シーズンは、クリスタルパレスと鎌田大地の活躍と躍進を期待して、楽しみにしたいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。